Hi, I'm Chuck Colson with this week's 2-Minute Warning. I hope you and your families and friends have a holy, blessed Easter. I will, because I'll be in prison, as I've done for the last 30 years. We celebrate because we as Christians know that our Lord is risen from the dead, and in his resurrection is our hope of everlasting life with God. Indeed, as Paul writes in 1 Corinthians, the historical fact of Christ's resurrection is the only basis of our hope. Without the resurrection, our faith is futile. This is why critics of Christianity often try to explain away the empty tomb. They claim that the disciples lied, that they stole Jesus' body themselves, conspired together to pretend he'd risen. The apostles then managed somehow to recruit more than 500 people to lie for them as well, to say they saw Jesus after he rose from the dead. How plausible is this theory? Well, to answer that question, fast forward nearly 2,000 years to an event I happen to know a lot about, Watergate. You see, before all the facts about Watergate were known to the public, in March of 1973, it was becoming clear to Nixon's closest aides that someone had tried to cover up the Watergate break-in. There were no more than a dozen of us. Could we maintain a cover-up to save the president? Consider this. We were political zealots. We enjoyed enormous political power and prestige. And with all that at stake, you'd expect us to be capable of maintaining a lie to protect the president? But we couldn't. The first to crack was John Dean. First he told the president everything, and then just 2 weeks later, he went to the prosecutors and offered to testify against the president. His reason, as he candidly admits in his memoirs, was to save his own skin. And after that, everyone started scrambling to protect himself. What we know today as the Great Watergate cover-up lasted less than 3 weeks. Some of the most powerful politicians in the world, and we couldn't keep alive for more than 3 weeks? Let's go back to the question of the historicity of Christ's resurrection. Can anyone really believe that for 50 years the Jesus' disciples were willing to be ostracized, beaten, persecuted, and all but one of them suffer a martyr's death without ever renouncing their conviction that they had seen Jesus bodily resurrected? Does anyone really think the disciples could have maintained a lie at that time, all that time, under that kind of pressure? No. Somebody would have cracked, just as we did so easily in Watergate. Someone would have acted as John Dean did and turned state's evidence. There would have been some kind of smoking gun, a deathbed confession. So why didn't they crack? Because they had come face to face with the living God, and they couldn't deny what they had seen. The fact is that people will give their lives for what they believe to be true, but they will never give their lives for what they know is a lie. The Watergate cover-up proves that 12 most powerful men in America couldn't keep a lie, and that 12 powerless men 2,000 years ago couldn't have been telling anything but the truth. And the inmates I speak to in prison get this. So have a blessed Easter, firm in your faith that the Lord is risen. He is risen indeed. I'm Chuck Colson. That's this week's 2-Minute Warning.